Morning. Surprise! You get me today doing a Sarah takeover. Um, but welcome to the morning word. I'm glad you're here. Um, since I'm taking over, we're going to kind of sidestep, take a break from what Josh and Sterling have been doing, and we'll be in Proverbs today. I was like, let's do the proverb for today. But before we get to that, I want to talk about Revolver Broadcasting still because that's where we are and we want you to know about us. So check out everything at revolverbroadcasting.com. It's got all the different shows, all the morning words, faith, healing, politics, workout with Jesus dudes, the agenda, all kinds of shows. Go take a peek at it. There's also the news chambers, which includes the prayer request list. So you can check things out, devotions, dissertations, all that fun stuff. And then we also have the shop. So you can find new things to wear and to hang on your walls and to relax with, like blankets and pillows and all kinds of fun stuff like that. I know I'm not great at this, so I don't get to put all the fun stuff up. But if you just go check it out, then you'll see it all, and it'll be great. And please do like and share and comment and all that, whatever platform you're on, especially the sharing, because sharing is caring. Magic. Woo! All right. Josh and Sterling are just needing some rest today. Sterling worked, and then also, please, I'm going to go ahead and just get this out there. His papa Larry did pass away yesterday, so please keep him and our family in prayer. We're so thankful that God allowed him to stay and accept him, and then even gave us a couple of weeks after that before taking him home. But it is still hard to miss him here. So just please keep him in your prayers. And yeah. Well, let's go ahead and jump into it. I don't know. I know I said proverb for the day. If you've ever heard of that, if you've been in church or anything like that, because Proverbs has 31 chapters. A lot of people like to do one each day of the month. So that's why I was like, let's just do today's proverb. So we're going to be in Proverbs 15. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. Whew, this is going to take a minute because Proverbs is the book of wisdom, and it's almost each verse by itself or a couple of verses has its own wisdom. But that's all right. We can do this. A soft answer turns away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. Makes sense. Don't react in an angry way. Keep yourself calm, and that can help. Because otherwise it can just make things worse. All right, makes sense. Verse 2. The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright, but the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness. Okay. The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright. So the wise know how to use their knowledge, which is almost the definition of wisdom, is knowing how to use knowledge. But the mouth of fools pours out foolishness. They don't know what they're saying, but they're going to pour it out anyways. We got to be careful what we say. Proverbs has a lot to say about what we say. Down to verse 3. We're making headway. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. That's one of those check yourself before you wreck yourself. Yeah, especially with your words. Eyes of the Lord in every place. So he is omnipresent, is that big church word. He is everywhere all the time. And he sees beholding, he's watching the evil and the good. So, good morning, Steve. As we continue in our daily proverb, we have verse 4. A wholesome tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness therein is a breach in the spirit. Okay, a wholesome tongue. So, what do you think of when you hear wholesome? Curious what my chat thinks of wholesome. Kind of says it in that phrasing there. It's a tree of life. Morning, Sterling. Thanks for watching since you're not on. All right, so wholesome tongue, tree of life. So it's speaking goodness and bringing things up, giving life. But perverseness therein is a breach in the spirit. So talking weird, out there, bad things breaks the spirit. Goodness and fulfilling. I like that. That's a good way to put it. All right, verse 5 as we move on. A fool despiseth his father's instruction, but he that regardeth reproof is prudent. Okay. So, fool despise his father's instruction. We need to be listening to our parents, and our parents, us as parents, should be giving instruction. I think that's both sides of the situation there. So a fool does not listen, but he that regardeth reproof is prudent. So he that does listen is being smart. Just using kind of those old timey, KJV words, because that's how me and Sterling roll. Verse 6, it says, in the house of the righteous is much treasure, but in the revenues of the wicked is trouble. Listen to your peers, take heed to others' wisdom. Definitely. And especially, I was talking about your parents in that verse ahead there. So, all right. Now, this verse, when I was younger, I used to think of Proverbs as like promises. It's like, this is the book of wisdom. These are promises. I was so wrong. It's not promises. It is practical wisdom, everyday to life kind of wisdom. So when it says in the house of the righteous is much treasure, that's not a promise that you're going to have treasure when you're righteous. But when you're righteous and you're doing things the right way, it is more likely for you to have treasure because you're being wise and smart with your money and things. But in the revenues of the wicked is trouble. Again, Proverbs, it just really speaks for itself, I feel like. Their work, there's going to be trouble there. Watch out. All right. Verse 7. The lips of the wise disperse knowledge, but the heart of the foolish doeth not so. Yep, it can definitely include treasures in heaven as well. I would agree. And in fact, more so. Which Jesus talks about that, where your heart is, there your treasure will be also. So I hear you on that one, Steve. Yep, it can also be good things, not just money. It could be, peace or joy. I find those to be treasures for sure. The comfort and hope, like especially in our death in the family situation. So, all right. So we were talking about verse 7, the lips of the wise disperse knowledge. Again, this Proverbs has a lot to say about what we say. So we want to spread that knowledge. The wise do. It's not just, we don't hold it in for ourselves. We want to share it with other people. But the heart of the foolish does not so. They want to keep it to themselves, what little they know, which just kind of goes to prove how foolish they are. All right, then we get to verse 8. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord, but the prayer of the upright is his delight. Ooh, okay. So not every sacrifice is equal. You see that in the story of Cain and Abel. They both sacrificed to God, but God accepted one and not the other. And that got Cain all upset and ended up becoming the first murderer. But that can apply to anyone, just because you say you're sacrificing, just because you say, Lord, Lord, doesn't mean that it's right, that it's good. In fact, sometimes God is going to consider it an abomination. That's a big, harsh word, I feel like. But he takes that seriously, and we should take it seriously too. Yep, selfishness, foolishness versus righteousness, obedience. For sure. Yes. But I do like the fact, it doesn't end with, the sacrifice of the wicked is abomination. But then he says, but the prayer of the upright is his delight. He loves to hear the prayers of those who are doing good, who are being righteous. It's his delight. He delights in that. I was just reading something earlier this morning, this book on thankfulness, and it talks about that uh, God is the happiest of all, and he takes delight in our prayers when we're upright. I think that's really cool. Oh, now we're getting another abomination. All right. So, verse 9, the way of the wicked is an abomination unto the Lord, but he loveth him that followeth after righteousness. Oh my goodness, excuse me. So how we live. So he's not just looking at the sacrifices, what we say is a sacrifice, but also just in the way that we live our daily life. The way of the wicked is an abomination unto the Lord, but he loves him that followeth after righteousness, which what is truly righteous is him. So he loves them that follow him. All right, verse 10. Correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way, and he that hateth reproof shall die. This chapter has a lot to say. It's mentioning it again about correction and reproof kind of stuff. It is grievous unto him that forsakes the way. He doesn't want to be corrected. He's already forsaken the way. Why would he want to be corrected? And he that hates reproof shall die. Oof. He that hates reproof, being corrected, being redirected, it can kill him. It's that could be literally, hey, if you're walking away and say for like drugs or alcoholism, like that'll literally kill you. But it can also kill your spirit and your mental health, and it's hard to live that way. It's basically dying. So yeah, be careful about that. Make sure that we are listening to the correction and the reproof when it's given to us. Verse 11 says, hell and destruction are before the Lord. How much more then the hearts of the children of men? Yes, spiritual and physical death brings you down, for sure. Oh, Steve says the meme of the people walking off the cliff with one person yelling at them that they are walking off the cliff comes to mind. Oh, right, yeah. Well, and I even on top of that, Steve, there's a guardrail, and they're like, "Oh, we're just gonna jump this fence." No, it's not a fence; it's a guardrail. That has always really stuck with me. That illustration that it's not a fence. It's not just, oh, I'm just gonna go over on this side. No, it's protecting you. That's what the Bible is for. That's what the rules are for. Like, it's not to be all legalistic. It's for your health and safety to be better in your life. um, Yeah, we were talking about verse 11 here, hell and destruction are before the Lord. And then it's this question, how much more than the hearts of the children of men? If the Lord sees hell and destruction and all of that, how much more is he watching the hearts of men? He knows all. It's talked about it earlier. Not eating Tide Pods. Oh my gosh. Yeah. They need some Proverbs wisdom, practical wisdom. And yes, I love that acronym, doing it that way, Bible. Basic instructions before leaving earth. That is not all of the Bible is encompassed by that, but a lot of it is. So that's a great acronym. And knowing that God is watching, which again, he mentioned that earlier in this chapter. God is watching, he is everywhere, he sees. Um, Going on to verse 12, it says, a scorner loveth not one that reproveth him, neither will he go unto the wise. A scorner. How should we define scorner? It's like I have in my head how I see it, but I am about to just look up what this word specifically means. Okay, yeah, so I was thinking correctly. A person who expresses contempt or disdain for someone or something. So they say it like aloud and to other people. Contempt or disdain. Oof. Okay. So this person that says contempt, he does not love ones that reprove him. I feel like that makes a lot of sense. He's already full of contempt. He doesn't want to be told that he's doing something wrong. And he's not going to go into the wise. Okay, so just don't be like that. Oh, I love this verse that's coming up. Verse 13, a merry heart maketh a cheerful countenance, but by sorrow of the heart the spirit is broken. So that first part, I love that. A merry heart maketh a cheerful countenance. Laughter is good for you. Laughter is medicine. A smile can brighten your day, lift your spirits, yourself and others. That's why I think it's so important to uh, do that outside, to strangers. You never know what they're going through. And if you just smile at them or say hi, just a simple thing, it's free for you to do that. And it could change their whole day. And then we just got to watch out on the other side. But by sorrow of the heart, the spirit is broken. So sorrow in of itself is not a bad thing. It's when it's sorrow of the heart where it just stays heavy in there. That's what breaks the spirit. So we can't live in it. Feelings, God gave us our emotions and our feelings. And, all of them. Sadness, anger, joy, all of that. So they all have a place. We just can't always stay in those. Can't stay in the feels. All right, let's see here. Oh, I lost my place. There we go. Verse 14. The heart of him that hath understanding seeketh knowledge, but the mouth of fools feedeth on foolishness. Okay. So the heart of him that hath understanding seek knowledge. So he understands that he doesn't understand, kind of, is what that is saying. He knows I need to go seek more knowledge. But the mouth of fools feeds on foolishness. They just keep eating up the same stuff. And it's not going to help them. And that's not good. Okay. 15. All the days of the afflicted are evil, but he that is of merry heart hath a continual feast. All the days of the afflicted are evil. Ooh, what do we think about that one? Days of the afflicted are evil. All right, let's go to Dr. Google over here. Mm-hmm. Okay. Anybody got some thoughts on that? How you are filled? I think I'm missing what you're saying there, Sterling. Spiritual versus worldly. Days of the afflicted. Okay. Yeah, okay, I could see that. Dr. Google AI says that days of affliction refers to prolonged periods of suffering, trouble, or distress caused by a variety of factors, including sin, divine discipline, persecution, or hardship in a fallen world. So, that periods of suffering are evil. Okay, that makes sense. It kind of talks about itself. Yeah, it's hard when you're having those periods of suffering, those times when you've fallen in your sin, or so you're having to be disciplined, or there's some kind of persecution. Yeah, that's hard. That's evil. But he that is of a merry heart hath a continual feast. So it's still, again, it's perspective, perspective, perspective. How are you viewing that situation? How are you living in that moment? Are you staying in those negative feelings? Or are you looking towards the one that gives joy and peace and happiness? Because that can make it that much better. Yes. Who are you relying on? Absolutely. Okay, let's see here. Boy, like I said, each one of these is its own little tidbit, but that's what's great about Proverbs. And it does repeat itself still, in themes, because it's talked about words, like you said, wisdom and foolishness, discipline, even multiple times over and over. And this is just in one chapter of Proverbs. This is all throughout all 31 chapters of Proverbs. You can see different angles of it. That's what's great about Proverbs. So we are on verse 16. All right. Better is little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and trouble therewith. Which verse 17 kind of goes along with that. Better is a dinner of herbs where love is than a stalled ox and hatred therewith. So it's better to have a little, or to only have a dinner of herbs, just, still kind of just a little, with fear of the Lord and with love, than to have all this treasure, or to have the best meat, but then there's trouble and hatred with it. So which do you want? Do you want to have just a little bit, but you fear the Lord? Or would you rather have a lot of trouble with a lot of treasure? Is it worth it? Is all that trouble worth all that treasure? Or do you want to have just a small dinner, some salad? Or would you want to have the best meat, but there's all this hatred surrounding it? What did you have to do to get that? Gotta think about that. What do you really want? What's it take to get what you want? Verse 18 says, a wrathful man stirreth up strife, but he that is slow to anger appeaseth strife. Okay, so a wrathful man, an angry man, someone who just is always at it, Hulk. I'm always angry. He stirs up strife. He keeps it going. And that's part of why he's, I would say, a wrathful man, because he is always keeping it going. But he that is slow to anger appeaseth strife. So you stay calm and collecting, you think it through, appeaseth, it calms it, it brings it down. Yep, reaction. So important, so important. Steve says, so the way I take that is is the effect worth the outcome? Yeah, definitely. Hulk smash. Oh man, it's Hulk's a great superhero for comics and TV and stuff, but let's not be real Hulks in real life. We don't want to be angry all the time. All right, let's see here. We are moving on. Verse 19. The way of the slothful man is an hedge of thorns, but the way of the righteous is made plain. What you put in, you get out. Definitely. Yep, exactly, actually. A slothful man, so a lazy man, is a hedge of thorns because he's not going out there to clear the way. But the way of the righteous is made plain. The righteous, they're doing their work that they're supposed to be doing. And so it's a nice, clean path. It's going to be easier in your life if you're not lazy. I think uh that's the way I'm taking that, at least. It's something I need to take to heart a little more. I would say that's one of the things I kind of struggle with, out of the 7 deadly sins, that's one of them that I really struggle with, the laziness, slothfulness. Moving on to verse 20, we've got a wise son maketh a glad father, but a foolish man despiseth his mother. Okay, so we're back to a father-son or child and parent relationship here. A wise son makes a glad father. Yeah, okay. I think that makes a lot of sense. You raised him right. You did good. And it, I just feel like that relationship's going to be really good if that is the case. Yeah, well, I'm glad I'm not the only one, Steve. Laziness is a problem with a lot of us. Yeah, I'd say laziness, because it goes with selfishness for sure, is a problem culturally. It can't just be given to you. You got to go work for it a lot of times. And how can we make our parents happy? Be wise. But a foolish man despise his mother. Woo. He doesn't even want to talk to her. He wants to despise. Like, that's such a harsh word. A foolish man despises his mother. Wow. Love your parents. Good instruction. We should be arrows. That whole bit. Yeah. It's true. Oh, excuse me. All right. Moving on to verse 21. Folly is joy to him that is destitute of wisdom, but a man of understanding walketh uprightly. That folly is joy to him that is destitute of wisdom. So, folly, which is kind of just another word for foolishness, is joy to him, is a lot of fun, brings happiness to them, that is destitute of wisdom, that is missing wisdom, that is not very smart. So he gets pleasure in foolishness. Wow. Okay. Just Proverbs just calling people out here. But a man of understanding walks uprightly. He walks the right way. Hunched over peeps. Cool. What? He got so much joy out of that, and it was foolish, wasn't it? He was missing some wisdom there. Going on to verse 22 here. Without counsel, purposes are disappointed, but in the multitude of counselors, they are established. Okay, going back to who's around you. Without counsel, purposes are disappointed. Your goal, it's going to be hard to reach that goal if you don't have the right counsel. But when you get the right counsel, then they are established, they're set, they are ready, and you can work towards them. Now that's a really general thing. It's saying you need counsel, but then other places in Proverbs and other places the Bible talks about what kind of counsel you get. Make sure you're going to the right kind of counsel. Are they godly? Are they righteous? Or are they just yes men? We need actual counsel, that's going to have wisdom there and speak life into it. Thank you, Sterling. Moving on to verse 23, we have, a man hath joy by the answer of his mouth, and a word spoken in due season. How good it is! Exclamation point. A man hath joy by the answer of his mouth. Ooh, okay. What do we think about that one, guys? Have joy by the answer of his mouth. All right. While y'all are thinking, I'm going to Dr. Google this again. All right, let's see here. Okay. I think this might be a case where another translation might express this better. That's what I am kind of finding. Okay, Sterling, you know what? You really got it, though. I know for me that having an answer is exciting, that you can help, or I think you mean shared experience, not a shred experience. Yeah, I think that actually really hits the nail right on the head there. Good job. Yay. So, man, have joy by the answer of his mouth when you're able to help, when you know what you're talking about. And I guess, the second part of the verse kind of speaks to that. A word spoken in due season, how good it is. When you say the right thing in the right time, that's great. It's a good feeling. All right, moving on to verse 24, we've got the way of life is above to the wise, that he made apart from hell beneath. Yes, you are. We all are. We all have to keep learning. Every day you should learn something new, right? That's what they say. The way of life is above to the wise, that he may depart from hell beneath. So the wise are thinking upward. Good morning. Yes, I don't mind it. I'm sorry you had a rough night. I'll be here the rest of this week if you need me / want me. The way of life is above to the wise, that he made apart from hell beneath. Look up. I don't even know, so you don't fall. Yes, I think that speaks exactly. The battlefield of the mind is very real and difficult. Josh, so true. And I know we've talked about it. Y'all have talked about it. Mental health is so important, and it is such a battlefield. And it's a pleasure to be here. But yeah, where your focus is, I think is very important. And this is saying Proverbs tells us the wise look up. So that they can escape the hell below. Which, and this is a phrase that when I was in youth group, one of my youth leaders said, that earth is hell for the Christian because we'll never go to actual hell. And I was like, oh, okay, this is as bad as it gets. This is my time here on earth. That gives a lot of hope, honestly. Moving on to verse 25 here. The Lord will destroy the house of the proud, but he will establish the border of the widow. Yeah. Yeah, Josh, sometimes you're praying so hard. Prayer is work. When you are really praying, when you are really seeking God and trying to listen to him and for yourself, for others, it is work. I think, a lot of people talk about the armor of God and they stop it after, the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. But that passage continues, and immediately after the sword of the Spirit, it talks about prayer. So I think that that is actually another weapon. You got the word is the sword, and then you have prayer is also a weapon, I think. So, and where is your heart and hope, Sterling? Yeah, above or below. Yep. What you're focusing on. Again, we were talking about that earlier in the chapter. What are you looking at? What are you following? And then what is the outcome of that is, verse 25 is talking about the Lord will destroy the house of the proud, but he will establish the border of the widow. Which again, going back to this is not a promise, because we all know that there are proud, bad people who have good things. But in many instances, we do see this, that God knows and he is watching and he is just. And that's what this verse is talking about. He is just and righteous, that he will destroy the house of the proud, but he will establish the border of the widow. He's going to lift up those that need the extra help. Verse 26 says, the thoughts of the wicked are an abomination to the Lord. So we got another abomination. But the words of the pure are pleasant words. Thoughts of the wicked. God knows our thoughts. It's not just what we say. It's not just what we do. He knows our thoughts. He knows our inner heart. He sees it all. Which that's something that, again, I was taught. God knows our thoughts. The devil does not. He doesn't know our thoughts until we say them. He can try to implant thoughts, but he doesn't know exactly what we're thinking until it comes out in some way. But God knows our thoughts. So that, I think, is a big distinction between the power levels of God and the devil. But the thoughts of the wicked are an abomination to the Lord. It's not good. What are you thinking about? But the words of the pure are pleasant words. That one's, I just really feel like it's really self-explanatory on that one. I know I talked about it, but still. Moving on to verse 27, we have, he that is greedy of gain troubleth his own house, but he that hateth gifts shall live. Oof. Okay. He that is greedy of gain troubles his own house. When you're always wanting more, you're so greedy, you have to have more, you're going to trouble your own house. Because that's what your focus is on. That hustle, that drive for all this stuff. It's mine. I need more. No. Be content with what you have, happy with what you have. And it says, he that hates gifts shall live. You don't need all the handouts. You don't have to be catered to. It's going to be a better life that way. Work for what you need and then be happy with that. You know, don't need all the extras. You don't have to work for all the extras. You don't have to accept all the handout, whatever stuff. Work for what you need. Be happy with that. I think that's how I would sum that verse up. Verse 28 says, the heart of the righteous studieth to answer, but the mouth of the wicked poureth out evil things. Okay. Heart of the righteous studieth to answer. So to take your time. You're not just shooting off words. Because the mouth of the wicked does that. It just pours out all these evil things. Just word vomit. So take your time. Study things out. Think about it. Research if you have to. Get that counsel that we talked about before. Then you can answer. That's the heart of the righteous. That's the right thing to do. I mean, you're just spewing it all out. That's not good. You become the mouth of the wicked. You're just causing problems. Work last night tried me on that. It can be so hard. And you even mentioned in your comments before, how are you reacting? Yep. And peacemakers, which that is not peacekeepers. That is peacemakers. You're not just keeping the peace. You are making peace. Huge, huge distinction, I think, that some people miss sometimes. All right. We are almost seeing the chapter. We got just a few more. Let's do this. Verse 29 says, the Lord is far from the wicked, but he heareth the prayer of the righteous. The Lord is far from the wicked, but he hears the prayer of the righteous. It says the Lord is far from the wicked, and I almost just want to flip that, just in how it's interpreted, and say that it's the wicked are far from the Lord. Because, oops, my phone's going off. Go away. Okay. Because the Lord is near. The Lord is omnipresent. He is everywhere. It is us that choose to, walk away and be away. But then as soon as we decide to repent and turn, God's right there. But the wicked don't care for that. So that's why they are far. But he hears the prayer of the righteous. He is right there. He's always listening. He's going to hear it. He's going to answer it. He is standing by, beside, behind, talks about, whom shall I fear? God of angel armies is by my side. Caring, yep, like the footprints in the sand. God, why? Why in the hardest times of my life are there only one set of footprints? Well, those are times I was carrying you. Or dragging. Kicking and screaming. Yeah, sometimes that's also what it takes. I don't think he... I want to know how he's yeeting us. Go over there very carefully. How do you yeet? Very carefully. I don't know, but God can do it because God can do anything. Talent. That's right. Yep. All the talent. All God. Oh, just be near to him. You'll be good. All right, you're gonna have some coffee. Enjoy that coffee. Be careful out there on the road. Sir Joshua. Thanks for stopping in. Okay, we are moving on to verse 30 here. The light of the eyes rejoiceth the heart, and a good report maketh the bones fat. Alrighty. What do we got? What are we thinking on this one, guys? The light of the eyes rejoices the heart, and a good report makes the bones fat. Let me do some Dr. Googling here. I tell you what, I've learned a lot in my life of, growing up in church and stuff, but I certainly don't know everything. My goodness. That's why I said, gotta learn something every day, right? You know what? Let me just. Oh, okay. What we see fills us with good or evil. It affects our everyday. What you let in comes out. Oh, hi, Nero. Divergent. Hump day, yeah, right? I think this is one of those verses that, again, another translation would probably say it better. Dr. Google says that it states, a cheerful look brings joy to the heart, which the light of the eyes rejoices the heart. So, a cheerful look, light of the eyes. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And good news brings health to the bones. Good report makes the bones fat. Yeah, I think that is a translation thing that makes it easier to understand. So looking at it that way, a cheerful look brings joy to the heart. We were just talking about that earlier. Just a smile can brighten somebody's day. And then good news brings health to the bones. Yeah, you feel better when you're getting good news, right? No? Okay. How one lifts others. There we go. I was waiting for someone to say something. Yes. Yes. How are you lifting up others? Countenance. What a word, countenance. Do you have RBF? Hopefully not. If you're a Christian, then I really think that you should not have RBF. But sometimes you just gotta watch it. Sometimes you just might be down. Verse 31, let's move on from that one. The ear that heareth the reproof of life abideth among the wise. All the of the KJV. So the ear that hears the reproof of life abides among the wise. Ear. So when you're listening to reproof for your life, you're living among the wise. I think that about says it. And again, that has to do with, who are you surrounding yourself with? Who is your counsel? Are you listening to hear that instruction, that turn you in a different direction kind of instruction? Because it's of life. It's to bring you up, give you life. The wise will help you with that. That's what it said. The wise will speak life. Verse 32 kind of goes on the opposite side of that. It says, he that refuseth instruction despiseth his own soul. But he that heareth reproof getteth understanding. So if you're refusing instruction, you're going to hurt yourself. You despise your own soul. Using, not just hearing. Yeah, right? You're listening, taking it with you, using it. Again, that in a sense, in simple terms, is wisdom, is using the knowledge that you have. And then if you don't do that, then you're hurting yourself. You despise your own soul. But he that hears reproof gets understanding. All right, we've made it to our last verse. The fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility. He wraps up this chapter with the fear of the Lord. And that's the instruction of wisdom. That's where you're going to learn wisdom, is by fearing the Lord. You got to be looking at God. There's a verse in Psalms that says that he will guide you with his eye. How are you going to see that guidance if you're not looking at him, if he's guiding you through his eye? You know? And before honor is humility. You don't have to puff yourself up, build yourself up. Just be humble. And that honor, it'll come. Maybe not as much as you want, but if you're being wise, then it's not going to matter. The honor that is deserved will come, which then you just take in with humility as well. And it's just, the circle of goodness. So that's a lot. 33 verses, mostly each one kind of saying its own thing, but then some themes were repeated, it feels like. The words that we say to ourselves and others can lift up, can bring down, be wise or foolish. How we say them, when we say them. Are we thinking about it first? Are we getting counsel first? God is everywhere. The eyes of the Lord are in every place. He is watching. Our sacrifices, or what we say is a sacrifice, the way that we're living, are those abominations? Are those wicked? Or are we delighting him? Are we falling in his love? And then what about correction, reproof? Are we taking that in? Are we listening to that? It's good for us. It's going to make us better. And if we don't, then we're hurting ourselves, being foolish. And then things, merry heart, the countenance. That's good. We should smile. The way we show ourselves to others is important. Are we wrathful? Are we slothful? Yep. So many. Where are we looking for things? The way of life is above, to heaven, to God. Are you being greedy? Are you working for what you need? Are you fearing the Lord? Are you being humble? Yes, just so many good reminders. And yes, so many things to work on. Good thing we've got the best example in Christ. I mean, you can use that to witness to others. Well, thank you so much for going on that journey with me through Proverbs 15. Now is a good time. If you have any prayer requests or updates to prayer requests, please send that in. I don't know if Sterling had already updated about Papa or not. I gotta try to look here. Oh, I do need to update this one. And then we've done those two. That's just, we can go off of that. Okay. Anything coming up, guys? Yeah, there's this right here. Just recovery. Okay, well, I'm not seeing anything pop up here, so I'm going to go ahead and pray. Thank you, dear Lord, for another day. Thank you for your wisdom that you shared with us in Proverbs, this everyday life wisdom that we can use practically. It's not big theories, and those are good, and we need those too. But sometimes it's nice to just, what can I do today? And so I just pray that we will find those things from the Proverbs, whether that's listening better, finding counsel, having a joyful countenance, looking to you, any of those things, God, all of those things. Pray that we will do that. God, I thank you so much. And I can't say it enough that you let Larry stay here on earth until he accepted you. And then you even gave us extra time with him on top of that before taking him home. And our hearts are heavy because we'll miss him here. But thank you, God, for your hope that we'll see him again, and all those who have gone on before us, that we get to see them again in heaven. And I just pray that we will be a witness to others so that they can also have that hope for the future, and also that joy and peace that only comes from you for today. I just pray for salvation for all of them that need you, those that are close to us, family and friends. I pray for those with sicknesses, physically. I know there's been a lot of surgeries and things, pregnancies, mental health. Again, such a battlefield, the mental health, which melds into the spiritual health and the battle there. God, just give strength and your power and your healing there. And pray for people's work situations, and just, money isn't everything, but you need money to live in this world. And I just pray for your provision in that aspect with whatever work that might be, and that we would be wise with that money, do what we need to do with it, and be content with it as well. And just bless everyone working for Revolver. It's a lot of work and a lot of time and dedication, and they care about it. I just pray a special blessing on them, Josh and Sterling, and those connected to them, like Laura. She supports him. And our other friends on here, like Crystal, Rosati, and Danny, and Bo, and these people who have shared and come in and helped to support, just, I ask a special blessing on them as well. I ask all this in Jesus' wonderful and holy name. Amen. Alrighty, well, I am going to try to do Worship Wednesday on Rumble Premium. So if you don't have Rumble yet, go check it out. Get that premium so you can see all the behind the paywall stuff, not just for Revolver Broadcasting, but everyone. But yeah, don't lose your hope. Don't lose your joy. Stay in trouble, like Josh likes to say. Keep on keeping on, Sterling likes to say. He's peeking over my shoulder here. And we'll see you later.
I'm peeking over shoulders. Thank you, Sarah.